What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I shared with you my coming out at work story. But that was just to one employee, and I had quite a few people to tell. It was a process. So I want to share a few more stories from around that time that are really encouraging and uplifting. But before I get into that, I've had a few questions from people asking me why I even had to do that. Why did I come out at work? So I think it's important to address this and remind everybody that this journey didn't just begin yesterday. It's not like I just told my employer yesterday. I'm sharing this video series to highlight the past 10 years of my life because I've been living my truth now for a decade, which is so amazing and crazy to say. So I began my transition back in 2012, but I had to lay the groundwork in 2011. And that's when I'm talking about coming out at work, was all the way back then, 11 years ago. So it's kind of important. I had a different name. I looked a little different then. So I couldn't just go into work one day and be like, hey, I'm Kayla, dressed differently, because nobody would have believed me and corporate would have fired me pretty quickly, probably. So I had to tell people what was going to happen. Also, I think it's important to address, based on other comments, I'm not here to compare my story to others. I'm very well of the privileges I have and how my journey has been compared to others. But I'm not here to do that. I'm not here seeking sympathy. I'm merely here to share my journey with a hope to educate people, to encourage and inspire some. I remember 15, 16 years ago when I was searching desperately online, trying to find out that I wasn't alone in how I felt, and seeking out these stories that people would share so that I could find hope for myself, so that I could see something for my future. So I decided, once my journey began, this is what I wanted to do, because I wanted to provide that same hope to someone else. So that's why I'm here. On to the stories. So just a quick recap. I told you about my assistant manager at the time and how I didn't expect him to understand, accept anything. And he blew my mind with how amazing he was and encouraging. So it kind of set the stage for me to grow some confidence and know that things would be okay. So fast forward a little bit, we hire a salesperson. She quickly becomes the mom of the store. She's absolutely amazing. I honestly don't remember my story with her. I remember showing the picture, having a conversation, and she accepted it and encouraged me. So again, I got lucky. It was great. Then my assistant manager, a little bit later, gets promoted to a bigger store. So that means a new assistant manager is going to be shipped to me and someone else I have to come out to. So I was nervous. I didn't know how this was going to work because we only had a few employees per store. So I was trying to work my way through who was in the store before I got to the regional manager and then corporate. So now I've got someone else to go through. New assistant shows up with his wife one evening, get to know them a little bit. Not quite sure, don't know how to read them. But of course, as the story went in my last video, you can't really just read somebody and assume anything. So I don't remember both of those stories that well either, if I'm honest. But I remember, I believe Pam, my salesperson, helping me tell my assistant's wife first. So their names were Matt and Angela. So I remember Pam helping me tell Angela, because we just knew Angela's personality, she was going to be great. And she was. And then she was dead set on telling her husband. She was like, I want to tell Matt. I was like, but I have to work with him. She goes, yeah, but he's my husband, so I get to tell him. So she was very adamant. Didn't matter if it was my story in my life or not. I remember her telling him. Everything was great. We started hanging out more, got to know each other. They got to meet Kayla and get to know me a little bit. Angela quickly became my best friend, really kind of my mentor and my guide to womanhood. She helped me with hair and makeup and styling. She would go shopping with me and encourage me. And there was one day in particular, it was a day off for me. We were going to meet at the store and go shopping. So I was going to be dressed up and be myself. And even though the wig I had back then was expensive for the time, compared to the wigs now, it was trash. And the pictures it didn't really look that good either. But it's what I had because I had really short hair. So I get to the store, Matt gives me a call and says, hey, so Angela's running a little late. Could you come in and help me with something really quick? There's some new product in the back. I want to take some initiative, get it out to the floor, but I don't know where you want it. And the reason he asked that is because I was kind of a stickler with my floor. I always wanted people to take initiative and do the work, but then I wouldn't like where they put things. So I had to learn to kind of let go of that a little bit. Anyway, so I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm myself right now. And he was like, no one's here. The warehouse guy's off. There's no customers in the store. Just come in really quick. So I was like, all right. So I make it into the store, walk all the way to the back, go to the warehouse, hoping nobody really paid attention or saw me. And we're back there looking at at the boxes, starting to open them up so we could see what was in them. And the phone rang. He's like, I gotta go with that. So we went back out to the front. I stayed in the back, was opening up the boxes. A few minutes later, he comes back. He goes, okay, we have a problem. Wait, what? What do you mean we have a problem? So, well, the manager next door is freaking out. He's about to call his regional manager because he thinks you're a customer and customers aren't supposed to be in the warehouse. He's like, so should I go tell him? Or do you want to go tell him? Like, what do we do? Damn it. I knew this was going to happen. Give me a minute and I'll go talk to him. I just have to figure out what I'm going to say, like how this is going to work. He said, okay, just hurry up because I don't want him calling his boss. And just to remind everybody, I worked in a giant furniture store, 3 separate entrances because we were 3 separate stores, but all part of one company. It was weird. Inside the store, you could walk all the way through all the stores and shop all of them. So, we're all connected. You could see in each other's stores. So I was like, all right. So I eventually made my way out, walked over to Denver Mattress and sat down at the counter. He walks over and he's like, why were you back there in the warehouse? Well, I'm the store manager. He's like, no, you're not. I know the store manager over there. You're not that person. Yeah, I am. I really am. Look closer. And he really thought I was the person he knew. I was that person's sister. That's what he thought. I'm not going to dead name myself, all that. There's no need for all that. So just interject whatever name you want there. He goes, I thought you were so-and-so's sister. There's no, wow. So that's cool. So I told him my story. This is who I am. I'm going to begin my transition. So he was quickly like, all right, that's fine. Told me something about him and his wife. I guess maybe just to make me feel a little bit more at ease, and maybe even himself. So that went well. Didn't exactly want to tell him as soon as I did, but it was just another person out of the way. And again, I was very lucky. Acceptance all across the board so far as I knew. Angela finally shows up. We leave, go shopping. And back then I was very self-conscious. I really still am today, but not in the same way. But the wig, I just felt like you could tell. So we were walking through the mall, and how I always did was I'd have my hair kind of down over my face a little bit, looking weird, I guess. And I'd keep my head down because I didn't want to make eye contact with people. I didn't want people to look at me. And I walked around nervous, and I was constantly just feeling eyes were on me. Angela pulled me to the side in the middle of the mall. She was not quiet about this. And she pretty much yells, are you happier as, again, dead name, or are you happier as Kayla? Do you have to say it so loud? People are looking. She goes, I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to you. Tell me, are you happier or are you happier as Kayla? I was like, I'm happier as Kayla. She goes, then act like it. You waited so long to live your truth and we're out. You're yourself. Be happy. Put your head up. People are staring at you because your hair is in your face and your head's down and you look weird. It's creepy. Don't do that. If you just look up and walk around with confidence, people don't care. They're too busy with their own lives. Okay, I just got lectured by my friend. This is great. But I noticed very quickly when I put my head up and I made eye contact with people and I just walked confident, proud of who I am. No one paid any attention. They didn't care. Most people, their eyes were in their phone. They were too busy chasing down their kids or thinking about what they're about to go buy. They could care less. And it taught me a valuable lesson. Just live your life. Who the hell cares what anybody else is doing or thinking? Because most of the time they don't care what you're doing or thinking. And she was right. I've waited so long to live my life, to be true to who I am. Why am I going to let anybody else's opinions deter that? So that's what I try to tell people today when I have conversations with people who are just beginning their journey. It's so important to let all of those negative opinions of what other people may or may not think go and just live. Just be you and be happy and proud that you're finally doing it. So thank you to Angela, because she really pushed me that day and it really changed the course of my whole transition. Time for a quick break in the video to introduce you to today's video sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community that offers thousands of classes for creatives so you can learn a new skill or further develop one that you already have. They offer classes such as illustration, design, photography, social media, marketing, and even self-care. Sharing so much of my story and life online can be quite draining. So self-care is very important to me. And that is why I decided to take this class by Jonathan Van Ness, The Ultimate Self-Care Playbook. First of all, Jonathan is an absolute sweetheart, and I love their kind nature and authenticity. Secondly, this class is a great lesson in how to focus on taking care of yourself in several different ways. And as you can see, the site is extremely easy to navigate, and there's so many classes you can explore at your own pace. The first 1,000 subscribers who click the link in the description box below can get 1 month free of Skillshare. Please check it out and see how easy it is to learn something new. And now back to today's video. So the next step was telling my regional manager, because then I could get to corporate, let them know the process, and make sure everything was okay so I could start being myself at work. So I had to reach out to the regional and say, hey, can you come into our store earlier than you normally do? We need to have our one-on-one. So the regionals would come in every couple of months, sit down with every employee, like out at lunch or dinner, and just kind of see how things were going. Ask you some questions, see where you were, see how things were going with you and your coworkers. So he was a little freaked out. He's like, why, what's going on? I was like, I need you to come in early. We need to have our one-on-one. I need to talk to you about something. He's like, okay, I'll see what I can do. So he changed his schedule up a little bit and came to our store probably a month early. And we went out to dinner and my stomach was in knots. It hurt so much because I was so nervous. I could not lose this job, but I also just couldn't live a lie anymore. So we're out at dinner. I power through my dinner. I power through dessert. I have no idea how. I guess it was just nerves. But we've been there for about an hour and he finally looks up and says, so you had something to talk about? Like what's going on? So I was like, well, here. And I just showed him my phone. I said, here. So he looks down at the phone and he sees the picture, the same one I showed my assistant. He's like, wait, so you're dating again? Is that the big news? So everybody there knew I was married. They knew I had just been through a divorce. I was like, no, that's me. He's like, wait, seriously? Wow. That's really cool. He said, so are you transitioning? What's going on here? Do I need to talk to corporate for you? I was like, wait, hold on. What do you mean? How do you know the word transitioning? He was like, oh girl, I grew up in New York. He said, I've been around drag queens, trans people, gay people, the whole queer community. I've been around that my whole life. He said, that's no big deal. That's you, that's awesome. Wait, did I really just, I sat there for a moment, probably for a couple of minutes, just in silence, because I couldn't believe how lucky I had been with each person along this journey, at my work, and everybody being so welcoming and accepting of who I am. And as excited as I was, the nerves started setting in more, because that means I was that much closer to making this happen. You know, it had been 30 years of my life living one way. All of a sudden, that's about to change. So I was scared at the same time that I was excited. So he immediately wanted to go to bat for me. He was like, yeah, whenever you're ready, just let me know. I'll talk to corporate. We'll get this worked out. So I think it's important to say that I was very lucky at my job. I know that this isn't everyone's story at work. There's a lot of people who lose their jobs, who can't find a job because of being trans. It seemed to go great for me at first, and I was lucky to at least have the experiences I had. But coming out, living my truth at work, eventually led to me losing that job. There was a few employees, one in particular, that was uncomfortable with me. And because of that, they found a way to get me pushed out of my job. So yeah, I got to live my truth. I got to be myself. I got to come out and transition at that job. But not everything was rosy. I tell the fun parts of the story because they're uplifting, because they're encouraging. I try not to dwell on the negative. But I did lose my job because of who I am. But at least I got to start the process. It pushed me out of that place, out of Waco, which I needed. So losing that job was actually helpful as well. I have to look at the good side of that. I got to move to Dallas and begin a whole new chapter of my life. So I want to say to anybody out there that's in this journey, that's in this process of coming out and fearful of what may happen, what may come. There can be some good things, there could be some bad things, but the most important thing to remember is who you are is valid. You are worthy. You are worth happiness and joy. You deserve that. So don't let other people's opinions, their hatred, the nonsense going on in this world keep you from living that truth and doing so with as much zest and joy that you can. Because again, you're worth it. You're loved. You're needed in this world. It's a beautiful life to live when you get a chance to live it free and true in who you are. So just remember that. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching my videos and for joining me along this journey. Until next time, bye.